you guys, welcome back to the Mountain Weekend Show. I'm here at Sundance Mountain Resort. It is a gorgeous day, and I am joined by Jerry Warren. He's the Director of Snow Sports. How are you today, sir?
Very good. I'm excited that you're here. It is a beautiful day.
Oh, it's just spectacular, and you have quite the role here at Sundance Mountain Resort. Tell me about it.
I've been here since 1996. Prior to that, I've coached and directed some other ski schools in the Intermountain area and in Oregon. But this has always been my home base, and I've always maintained a good friendship with our owner, and he kept pulling me back in, and this is definitely my home now.
Oh, wow. Well, looking around here, no surprise that you want to be here and call Sundance Mountain Resort your home. Let's discuss some of the services that you guys offer and really your unique method when it comes to teaching people how to ski and snowboard.
We have lessons for children of all ages, from 4 on up. And certainly you can be as old as you've ever been and enjoy learning from us. We also have a lot of local programs that come up on a daily basis where we really activate the children, particularly in Utah County and Heber Valley. That's the future of our sport, and so we really emphasize getting them up here at a very reasonable cost, and they absolutely love it. That's for skiing and snowboarding as well. But any day of the week, a guest can drop in on us unannounced and go in and purchase a lesson, a group lesson, or a private lesson. And we'll accommodate them and we'll handle them at their own ability. We don't make them start at any particular location. We find out where they presently are and just enhance their enjoyment from that point on.
As you were discussing that, you think, wow, can you remember the first time that you skied or snowboarded, what that experience was like? What is that like for you to see people do this, for so many of them, the first time?
Well, you know, now that I'm as old as I've ever been, but I still do remember that first time when I learned, and I kind of snuck on a little bus and came up here and just stood on the side of the run and watched people coming down the hill. I probably shouldn't tell you this. And,
this is on camera.
Oh, no. And I just watched people coming down, and I watched this one skier coming straight down the hill, and right before what I considered would have been a wipeout, he just kicked his skis sideways and came to what we call a hockey stop. And I went, I can do that. So I hiked up the hill and just fell and practiced until I could do a hockey stop, got on the lift and went up by myself, and here I am promoting lessons, and that totally is contrary to that. But I promise you we can make it quicker, easier, more enjoyable, and safer.
Ooh, yeah.
To do it.
Well, thank you for sharing that insight into why you do enjoy this position so much here at Sundance. I mean, getting out on the mountain is a very special experience, and you want to make sure that you're equipped with the right technique, with the right skills, and that's what you guys provide.
We do. Thank you for asking that question. We have a teaching method that we call home base. Now, the reason that I titled it home base is because every good skier in the world, whether it's a recreational skier or a World Cup skier, have a home base for lack of that title. And what that means is you have primary movement patterns that you use that are part of you, that's just like bringing part of home with you. And, you know, that's a feeling, right? A feeling of comfort and warmth and challenge and so forth. And when you learn these primary moves, you take them with you wherever you go on any day, whether it's sunny or stormy or steep or flat or powder or moguls or whatever. And those primary movements are always with you. And to develop those home base primary movements, see, I used to be on the Professional Ski Instructors of America national team, and I helped coach it for about 8 years. And they do wonderful things. They have a great system, but it doesn't break it down to the simplicity that we all need to really feel the magic of skiing. And so I've taken hundreds and hundreds of movement patterns, little things that you do to edge and to turn your skis and all of those things, and I've chunked them or condensed them down into 4. Can you imagine going from hundreds to 4? And does that sound more simple to you, Chelsea?
A lot easier than what you were just saying, but that's what you do. You make that experience more simple and enjoyable in that process.
We do. And skiing can be very complex, and I think a lot of people have that fear that skiing is very complex. And it really isn't, particularly if you can chunk a lot of things together into one primary move. So I have 4 of those primary moves. And not to get technical here on the chairlift, but just very simply, and you'll see that when we take off and go skiing here in a minute, that you'll see that I have an open frame. In other words, my arms are wide enough that it looks like I might be walking a tightrope, but it guides your ability to turn your feet quickly. You'll see my body go into an angular shape, like a big C shape, and that helps the guest to feel control and edge their skis and get down any kind of terrain. You'll see my outside hand lining up over my boot with my hip, and that's what we call the 3 zones of alignment: the boot, the hip, and the hand. When those are lined up, you're in a structurally powerful stance, and it allows you to ski ice and powder and everything in between without worrying about, am I facing the right way? How far ahead do I reach with my hand? And all of those things that can be very, very complex. And then the 4th one is, we call it just a directional movement. That's how you take all those first 3 and you drive them in and out of the turn. That one's the hardest. Because that requires movement and a certain amount of speed and so forth. But really, those are the 4. Open frame, angular, 3 zones of alignment, and a directional movement. Now, you'd have to join us to figure out what those are, but within those 4 are the little minute things that you would do that if we need to coach you on those little things, we'll reach back into that little toolbox and pull out the little movement pattern that we need to share it with you. But it's very easy for you to work on those 4 things. And I'll show you some skiing that will really, to just ski this way, the way that I'll show you, you really only need to do those 4 things, and that will be 80 to 85% of everything that you need to be able to do to ski well. And that only leaves 10 or 15% of the other little stuff that drives people crazy.
I love how simple you make this sound. That is so wonderful. But really, as you've been describing this, Jerry, you can really feel that pure passion that you have for what you do. I mean, you've written a manual on this, on how to make this happen.
I have been doing this for a long time, and while I was on the national team, I helped write several of the national manuals for teaching. And because those manuals were for the whole country, you had to satisfy the needs of the whole country. And so I've taken those needs of the whole country and I've personalized it to Sundance. And it's magical. It is simple. You learn to ski so fast and it is so fun. And I am passionate about it. I based all 4 of those home-based movement patterns on how we learn. See, that's the difference. A lot of times we study technique, but we don't connect the technique to actually how you learn. And everyone has different learning styles, okay? That's personal to them. But there's really 3 primary learning styles. Whatever it is that you want to learn, whether it's in skiing or anything, you need to be able to see it. So in your mind's eye or just physically being able to see it out on the snow. If you don't see it, you're not connected. So you have to see it. And you need to be able to understand it. But not deeply, not technically, just enough that you remember that you can duplicate what you just learned the next day. So see it, feel it, and understand it. And I call that the cycle of learning.
Jerry, how important is it to get kids out here on the mountain when they're young?
Well, it's important to get them out when they're young. People that start their children at 3 and 4, which is fine, compared to people that start them at 7 and 8, which is also fine. By the time they're all about 10 years old, they're pretty much the same. So an important thing for parents to remember is that when you start your children at any age, don't become that little league parent that wants your child to be the star. The important thing is that they're warm, that they're happy, that they're smiling, that they're laughing, and that they love the sport and they love snow. If you answer those things, they will learn much faster. They will come back and they will end up having the likelihood of being that star that the parent wanted them to be anyway. And so it's the love, it's the passion. Technique is important, but technique is only a facilitator to what you're able to do on the mountain and where you're able to go. So proper technique and learning methods enable you to ski more of this vast mountain playground, have fun, do it safely, and be able to slow down anytime you want, speed up anytime you want, make a turn and zig over there, make another one and zag over there, and so forth. See, those are the feelings and the emotions that children want, and we give that to them, and that's the way we coach our coaches, to give it to them. Now, adults are so close to that. They want the same things. Even though they want you to teach them all this technique about how to carve and how to ski the moguls and everything else, and we do coach them on that, but it's still that emotional attachment to the joy and the love of the sport and the mountains and the snow. That's more of our end game than technique. But really the magic of the sport, particularly at that young age, is that you want your kids to be begging you to take you skiing, not to be kicking and screaming as you're dragging them out the door. And it's that experience, it's making it fun. That goes back to our home base of only having 4 primary movement patterns. Children can learn 4 primary movement patterns. Adults can learn 4 primary movement patterns. And it's very simple. We avoid the complexity of things that are complex, and we jump over that to the simplicity of those things that could be complex, but they're not if you compartmentalize the key things that you have to do.
Well, now we want to know, how do we get in touch with you to make sure that we can get this instruction, whether as a group or as a private party?
Well, you just contact Sundance. They can send you to the snow sports office, and I would be available to answer any questions and so forth. Or our clerks at the office are fantastic, and we have brochures and handouts that explain home base to you, and we'd love to have you join us to feel that magic and that passion that we have for the game.
Well, thank you so much. Jerry Warren here. Thank you. It has been such a pleasure to learn more about you. It looks like we're almost here at the bottom of the lift, getting ready to ski. What do you say we go out and enjoy it?
Let's go jump off that Arrowhead lift and jump into some of those bowls and have some fun.
All right, let's see how it goes, you guys.